Let's look at the currency future market. Now, once you are coming to this point, you have already finished the spot rate and forward exchange market. Actually, future market is some part of forward market, but there are some differences, right? There are some differences. Once we know that the forward market, we are making forward contracts to make sure that your transaction is happening today, but it's going to be settled in 1 month, 2 month, or 3 months time period back after. Then after that time, you need to settle your transaction exchange rate today. So that's why you are going with the forward contract with your bank, right? The same scenario is happening in the future markets. Okay, so it's normally under the forward market, there are no specific restrictions. But in the future market, you can see forward contract coming under few restrictions, right? So what are the restrictions? There are few currencies only engaging in future markets, right? And exchange rate is fixed at the time of the contract enter into, right? Likewise, once you say the forward rate, we can start, we can do the settle, we can do the transaction today and settle the transaction after 1 month period. But if you are going with the future markets, there are some transaction dates you need to make your delivery, make your transaction dates, right? So you cannot settle your transaction as you wish by your delivered dates. So that delivered dates are determined by some authorized party. Okay. And next different feature of the future market when compared to the forward market is you cannot make the contracts volume or contracts value as you wish. There are fixed contract value in the futures market, right? So all these things are determined by International Monetary Market. We call them as IMM, right? So if you are going with the future market transaction, it is similar to forward market transaction. That means you are doing the transaction today, but the delivery date within some considerable future time period. But you cannot dealing with every currency you like, right? You cannot settle your transaction as you desired date, and your transaction size you cannot decide, right? So the futures market given currencies you can see from the slide, as well as your recommended textbook you can refer. There are some specific currencies only you can deal with future currencies. Sorry, your future currencies market, right? And the contract sizes are also given at with the standard size. For an example, if you are dealing with pound transaction, it is 62,500. If you are dealing with Canadian dollars, it is 100,000. And if you are dealing with Swiss franc, it is 125,000. Please refer the exhibit 8.1 in your recommended textbook in order to identify those features in future markets, right? And not only like forward market, you have to maintain the margin requirement if you are dealing with future contracts, right? It should not be less than 3% of the total volume of your contract, right? And the next one is your transaction, right? If your transaction need to be settled with the given time period, right? So please refer your textbook and find out what are those features in the future currency future markets, right? I told you again, currency futures are forward have same features, right? You do the transaction today, you settle the transaction in future specific time period at a specific exchange rate decided by today. But it has different characteristics, like you have to dealing with given specific currencies, you have to dealing with the fixed contract size, and you have to settle the transaction within given time period. Okay, and these, and you have to maintain the margin if you are going with the future currencies transaction, right? So these are the difference between currency futures and forward market, right? Then you do the comparison with the future contracts and forward contract. Please exhibit this 8.1 in your reference textbook and you will get the more knowledge regarding futures and forwards. Right. Then we are moving to the last one of our forward exchange market type. We call currency option market. Now, interestingly, forward and future contract protects the holders against risk of adverse movement in exchange rate. Now we know that if a trader like to minimize the foreign exchange fluctuation, they try to move it with forward and future contract. Now forward give more freedom for the trader, but futures you have to deal with some specific constraint like contract size, contract currencies, and contract settlement date, as well as you have to maintain margin, right? Even though these limitation, it still give the protection to the contract holder. But however, that future and forward eliminate the possibility of gaining weightful profit from favorable movement. But those contract, if you feel that now you are making the settlement, making the transaction today, and you agree to settle the transaction within 1 month's time period. But when the 15 days moving on or 15 days over, now you can see under the spot market, exchange rates are favorable to you. What you can do, but you think that if I am violate the forward contract and I can settle the transaction within this 15 time period. But unfortunately, if you are entering with the forward or future contracts, you cannot violate your forward contracts or future contracts, or you cannot settle your futures or forward before the given time period. But if you are going with the currency option contracts, or if you are dealing with the currency option market transaction, now you get that chance. What is the chance? So you can settle the transaction before or before the expiration date, right? Therefore, option is a financial instrument that give the holder the right, but not the obligation to settle or sell or buy another financial instrument at specific price at expiration date, right? I will explain it using the example in next slide, right? So option, we have two things. We can have a call option, right? They give the customer right to purchase the contract, that it give you to right to purchase, and put option, it give right to sell, right? And the price at which option is exercises is called, normally we exercises price mean that is the price we desire to settle the transaction at the contract time period over, right? Like our forward rate, right? In the option, we call it as exercise price, right? So forward market, we call it as a forward rate now, but in here we call it as exercise price or strike price. So those are only terminology, right? Now look at this example, right? And these are some characteristic, okay? Like futures, okay? So you cannot settle the transaction as you wish. Now you have specific settlement date, right? March, June, September, and December. And these months you have to settle your transaction, and therefore you have to make your payment date in between these months, right? And you have some specific currencies as futures, right? Your contract size is also given like this, but it's little bit different. So please refer the exhibit 8.4 for further detail of futures of currency options, right? And you are having specific location, right? Not there, you cannot do the option transaction in everywhere you like, but you have to do this specific exchange market, right? So these are some kind of features in option market. Please refer that exhibit number 8.4. Right. Now use this example. I will explain you what is the future. Now assuming that US importer with pound 62,500 payment to make to a German exporter in 60 days, like this as a forward contract, right? Now you are making the transaction today. After 2 months time period, you have to pay pound 62,500 to settle off your transaction, right? Now importer could purchase European call off. That means you give the option to buy, right? That means you have to buy 62,500 at the end of the 2 months time period, right? And euro delivered to him at the specific exchange rate, what we call it as a strike price. Actually, it's similar as a forward rate, right? Now, I told you that like a futures also in the option we have to pay premium, right? Now futures you are paying as a margin like percentage of your value, but in here you have to pay premium per your currency. Now in this case you have to pay premium per dollar. Per euro you have to pay 0.02 dollar per euro, right? And your exercises price, that is your forward rate, actually your forward rate is $1.44 per pound. That means at the end of the 2 months you have to buy 62,500 euro by paying per euro $1.44, right? Then importer has to pay $1,250 as their premium, right? Make the count and see, and which give the right to buyer, give the right to buy 62,500 euro at the price of $1.44 per euro at the end of 60 days. That's why I explain you, right? If at the time of import payment fall due, the value of euro has risen to say. Now, assuming that when the 6 months, when the 60 days over, now spot rate is going to be have per euro $1.5, right? That $1.5. Now what is your actual strike price? That means after 6 months time, after 2 months time period, you have to pay only per euro $1.44. Actually dollar 0.06 you will get profit as your transaction in currency options. Now look at this, right? So if you can see this scenario, right, when the settlement of the date, that means after 60 days period over, now you can see at the market euro is at $1.5, but your agreement is to pay per euro $1.44. Now you can see you have a very huge profit margin, right? Therefore you go with your call option or you go with your currency option contract, right? Because you getting profitable to go with your agreed forward rate, right? Then you will get the profit of this is the difference between spot rate and your exercises prices. And actually you can see it already covered your option premium, right? Now assuming that instead of the spot rate having per euro $1.5, now assuming that it is now per euro $1.41, right? What is your exercises price? Your exercises price is $1.44 per pound. But now at the market, you are having euro at 1.41, right? Now if you are going with this option, like to settle this pound 62,500 by paying per pound, to settle the euro 62,500 by paying a euro for a euro $1.44, now you are making a euro loss of $0.03, right? The difference between 1.44 to 1.41. Now, if you are going with the currency option, now you have a right to expire the option. That means you can violate the option contract. Then you can see to the other party, no, I am not going with your exercises rate. I am going with the market rate and settle my transaction, right? Then the importer would like to would let the option expire and purchase the euro in given spot rate. Now you can see this kind of opportunities you cannot see from futures and forward contracts. But if you are going with the option, if you see that the current spot market rate is lower than your exercise call option, that means your buy option, right? Then you can expire your currency option contract, right? But you have to settle that premium, but you have to pay that premium. That is the only loss you are going to incur, right? But you will get more than benefit, after getting this $0.03 per euro, you still having the profit of $625, right? Because if you are going to settle the transaction with the pound per euro $1.44, you have to pay more than that. Therefore, you just expire the option and go with the current spot rate and settle your euro 62,500 contract. Now, this is the opportunity that buyer getting from currency options. මං හිතනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පැහැදිලි වෙන්නේ නැති කියලා currency option එකේ සිනාරියෝ එක. ඒකේ වෙන්නේ මෙහිමයි. දැන් ඕගොල්ලෝ ඇග්‍රීමන්ට් එකක් ගහනවා යුරෝ 62500ක් සෙටල් කරනවා මාස දෙකක් ගියාම එක්සර්සයිස් ප්‍රයිස් එක එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි කියනවා මේ ෆෝවර්ඩ් රේට් එකේ ඒ වෙලේ අපි ඇග්‍රී වෙන්නේ මාස දෙකක් ගියාට පස්සේ අපි යුරෝ එකක් මිලදී ගන්නවා ඩොලර් 1.44ක් ගෙවලා. right? ඒතර currency option එකක තියෙන තවත් එක් දෙයක් තමයි අපිට ප්‍රීමියම් එකක් ගෙවන්න ඕනේ option contracts වලට යනවා නම්. right? ඒ ප්‍රීමියම් එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් futures වල නම් අපි ගෙවන්නේ contract value එකේ margin එකක් percentage එකක් විදියට. හැබැයි option වලදී අපිට ගෙවන්න වෙනවා per currency වලට rate එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි යුරෝ එකක් ගන්නකොට අපිට margin එකක් තියන්න ඕනේ, ප්‍රීමියම් එකක් ගෙවන්න ඕනේ යුරෝ එකකට ඩොලර් 0.02ක්. right? ඒ කියන්නේ 7 දෙකක්. right? so මේ විදිහට අපි contract එකට agree වෙලා අපි යනවා contract එක. දැන් ওই contract එකේ කාලේ ගලාගෙන යනවා. හරි? ඒතකොට අපි assume කරමු අපි කාලේ මාස දෙකක් යනකොට ඒ වෙලාවේ තියෙන spot rate එක යුරෝ එකකට ඩොලර් 1.150යි. right? එහෙම අවස්ථාවක අපිට වාසි call option එක exercise කරන්න එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් call option එකත් එක්කම යන එක. ඇයි? අපි මාකට් එකට ගියොත් අපිට ගෙවන්න ඕන යුරෝ එකකට 1.50ක්. හැබැයි අපි ඔප්ෂන් එකට ගියොත් අපිට ගෙවන්න තියෙන යුරෝ එකකට 1.44යි. ඒ කියන්නේ යුරෝ එකකින් අපිට ඩොලර් 0.06ක් වාසි. ඒ වාසිය මුළු විදිහටින් ගණනය කරොත් අපි ඇක්චුවලි කෝල් ඔප්ෂන් එකේ ප්‍රීමියම් එක ගෙව්වත් අපිට ලොකු වාසියක් ඉතුරු වෙනවා. මේක තමයි අපිට එන වාසිය. right? ඒතර වාසිය ගණන් කරන්නේ අද තියෙන ස්පොට් රේට් එකත් එක්ක අපේ එක්සර්සයිස් ප්‍රයිස් එක කම්පෙයාර් කරන්න. right? හැබැයි මෙහිම අවස්ථාවක් අපිට આવොත් කොයි වගේද? අපි හිතමු ස්පොට් මාකට් රේට් එක මාස දෙකකට උනාට පස්සේ තියෙන්නේ යුරෝ එකක් ඩොලර් 1.41යි නා. ඒතකොට අපි ඇක්චුවලි අපි ඔප්ෂන් එකට ගියොත් අපිට ගෙවන්න ඕන යුරෝ එකකට ඩොලර් 1.44ක්. ඒතකොට ලොස් එක කීයද? යුරෝ එකකට අපිට ලොස් වෙනවා ඩොලර් 0.03ක්. right? ඒ වෙලේට ඔප්ෂන් එක කරපු පාටි එක එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔප්ෂන් කොන්ට්‍රැක්ට් එකට ගිහිවිච්ච කට්ටිය එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔප්ෂන් එක ගත්ත මේ ට්‍රේඩර් මොකද කරන්නේ? ඔප්ෂන් එක එක්ස්පයර් කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කියන ඔප්ෂන් කොන්ට්‍රැක්ට් එකට වයලේට් කරනවා. he has that right. එයාට right එක තියෙනවා. ඒකයි ඔප්ෂන් කියලා කියන්නේ. එයා කොන්ට්‍රැක්ට් එකට යන්නේ නැහැ. එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? මාකට් එකෙන් පවුන්ඩ් යුරෝ එකක් 1.41කට අරගෙන ඩොලර් 1.41ක් ගෙවලා පවුන්ඩ් එකක් අරන් එයා සෙටල් කරනවා එයාගේ ට්‍රාන්සැක්ෂන් එක පවුන්ඩ් යුරෝ 62500. right? හැබැයි එයාට ලොස් එකක් එනවා. එක ලොස් එකක් තමයි එයාට ගෙවන්න වෙනවා ප්‍රීමියම් එක. මොකද්ද ප්‍රීමියම් එක? යුරෝ එකකට ඩොලර් 0.02ක ප්‍රීමියම් එකක්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ටෝටල් එක ඩොලර් 1250ක ප්‍රීමියම් එකක් ගෙවන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා ඔප්ෂන් ප්‍රීමියම් එක විදිහට. හැබැයි එයා ඩොලර් 1.41කට යුරෝ එකක් අරගෙන 62500ක යුරෝ ට්‍රාන්සැක්ෂන් එක සෙටල් කරලා ඩොලර් 1250ක ප්‍රීමියම් එකක් ගෙවුවට පස්සේ එයාට net profit එක විදියට හම්බ වෙනවා ඩොලර් 625ක්. යුරෝ එකක් ඩොලර් 1.44කට අරගෙන loss එකකට යනවට වඩා. right? So this is what we call currency option. That's why I told you in here, currency option is an financial instrument that give the holder the right. That means trader the right, not the obligation to sell or buy another financial instrument at a set price and expiration date. right? So I'm only dealing with the call option. Also, you can see as the put option aspect as well, right? So that's the meaning of currency options, right? Now your exercise number 4, go to the page number 301 in your recommended textbook and do the exercise called mini case carrier number evaluate its futures, right? Read the case and understand it and answer the questions itself. It's given on the case, right? And don't forget, you have altogether 4 exercises to do, and I don't need your answers, but you have to work out these exercises. I am repeatedly saying you have to work out these exercises, right? So today's session we are covering, actually we discuss about few current foreign exchange markets, right? So under the foreign exchange market, we familiarize with 4 types of market: spot market, forward market, currency futures market, and currency options market, right? So under the spot market, we discuss about how the spread between bid and ask prices or ask rate, the arbitrageurs make profit or incur in loss as well, right? Then we discuss about how arbitrage profit or loss going to be over in very short time period. You understand that process. Then we come into the discussion of the forward market. Under the forward market, we discuss about what is forward contract, right? Okay, why people are moving to the forward contracts, right? And how bank decide their forward rates, right? By looking at the difference between foreign interest rate and domestic interest rate, you can calculate forward rate, right? When comparing with the forward rate and spot rate, we can quote at forward rate as forward discount and forward premium, right? So these are the things we discuss under the forward market. Then we come into the futures. Actually, futures we don't discuss too much, but we identified that futures is a part of forward market, but future market or future contracts are going to be differed with forward market with some basic features. So I ask you to refer those features and make familiarized with how forward contracts are different with future market contracts. Then we lastly discuss about currency options. When compared to the futures and forward market, option give the buyer to right. It's not the obligation, but it gives the right to exercise this option. Now, based on the example we discussed, we identified that if the trade party can see if he can earn profit from the current spot rate when compared to the exercises prices, he can violate the currency option contract. Then you can see what the profit margin he can earn from the violation of currency option contract, right? So these are the basic things we discuss. Now, lastly, I again reminding you, please do these 4 exercises that I given on the lessons itself, right? Then familiarize with the forward market types by yourself in more detail. So that's the end of the session. For end of the session, I always telling you some lesson for today, right? Now you can see the 3 different people in our world or in our society. So great minds people always discuss ideas. Average mind people discuss the events, but small mind people always discuss about people. Then think about whether you are a great minder, you are an average minder, or still you are a small minder, right? So that's the lesson you need to think about for today. Okay, then. So we have ended up with the session and we finish 4 session in your subject, international finance. See you in the session number 5 and stay safe and be healthy.